From the streets, it looked like any other beauty spa. Ladies laughing, hairdryers buzzing, music playing. The smell of perfume and fresh shampoo filled the air, and everything seemed normal. But behind those glossy walls, welcoming smiles, and the polished reception, something darker was happening. Lives were controlled, choices were stolen, and babies were being produced for a price. No one knew how far the building stretched or what secrets hid in the back, and once you stepped inside, there was no going back. Welcome to the place they call the Baby Factory. The building looked normal at a first glance, but the building had three faces. The front of the building was a spa and salon, polished floors, clean glass doors, mirrors lining the walls, and makeup palettes open on the counters. Women came for nails, hair, makeup, and massages. Some came every week, some once a month. Laughter and conversations bounced off the walls. People walked past, hurried along, barely glancing at the building. Nothing seemed unusual. Almost perfect. The side of the building was a hotel and a bar. Doors opened, guests checked in and out, men in expensive outfits carrying bundles of cash sat enjoying themselves, staff carrying trays of drinks, and music played softly in the background. From the outside, it seemed lively and harmless, just like any other hotel. The back, no one ever saw the back of the building. It had high walls with barbed wires, locked gates and security guards, blurry windows and doors no one else was meant to open. Behind the doors, girls of different ages lived there. Some were pregnant, some were just recovering from childbirth, and some girls were still new. Everything there was calculated. The girls were always monitored, they weren't allowed to own a phone there, meals were scheduled, pregnancies were planned and tracked, babies were born, collected, and sold. Pregnant girls were moved from room to room, and the new girls learned fast. Security checks were always constant. CCTV cameras were everywhere, watching, and no one outside suspected a thing. Only by doing what you were told kept you alive, and at that, nothing was certain. Once you stepped inside, there was no going back. And running all of it was Mrs. Vivian Cole. The spa made her money, the hotel made her money, but the baby factory, that was the most profitable part of all. Though hidden behind walls and locked gates, it made her the most money. Mrs. Vivian Cole herself rarely entered the back. She didn't need to. Orders were passed down through the supervisors. Obedience there was not optional. Many of the girls there had been tricked. They were promised job opportunities at the spa or salon. Some thought they would learn hair, nails, massage, maybe make a little money and build a life. But the truth hit hard when they were led to the back of the building. There, they were told they had to produce babies, and for each baby, they would be paid a sum of 100,000 naira. Some girls cried, some begged, some refused. Not all the girls there were deceived. Some came in willingly. They were found on the streets, pregnant with nowhere to stay. The madam promised them shelter, money, and food, just enough to keep them working. And most of them agreed because what choice did they have? Outside, they were alone. Inside, they were trapped but fed. You might wonder, who were the fathers of all those babies? That was part of the plan too. The girls were sent to the hotel and bar side of the building. There, they entertained men, poured drinks, danced, and some were asked to sleep with them. The pregnancies were not accidents. They were carefully planned. Babies were born in the factory, and each one had a buyer waiting somewhere. The buyers came secretly. Some were rich men in suits, some were foreigners, some were people nobody wanted to be seen with, like ritualists or cultists, people with dark plans in general. They paid heavily for each baby. Girls whispered about it, cried in corners, held newborns for as long as they could, but in the end, the money exchanged hands and the babies were gone. And the cycle continued, and at the center of it all was calm and perfect Mrs. Vivian Cole, watching, calculating, and untouchable. Kemi had been one of the oldest girls in the factory. She had been here 6 long years. 4 children had come and gone, and now she was pregnant with her 5th baby. She was always quiet, always sad. Every time she thought about how she got here, tears threatened to fall. Mrs. Vivian Cole had promised her a big job in the city, a real chance at a life. But instead, Kemi ended up trapped here with no way out. Even the midwives weren't free. They lived there too, paid to care for the pregnant girls and babies, but only allowed to leave once in a while for holidays. Everyone inside the walls was part of the same world, controlled, watched, and trapped. When Kemi finally delivered her 5th baby, she refused to let it go. She begged, cried, pleaded to keep her baby in her arms, but the madam didn't care. The baby was collected from her by force. That was when something inside Kemi broke. She cried, screamed, threw herself on the floor, filled with anger and frustration. She vowed openly that if she ever got a chance, she would report the baby factory to the authorities and she would bring the whole place down. Late that same night, Kemi's tantrums grew louder. She refused to calm down. The security guards came in quietly and dragged her away. Nobody saw her or heard about her again. Her disappearance sent a shiver through every girl, every staff member. Fear tightened around them like a noose. About a month later, rumors spread through the rooms. The government was coming. People would come to raid the place. The girls dared to hope. Maybe this time help had finally come. But it didn't. Mrs. Vivian Cole had stuffed their mouths with money, bribes, gifts, promises. They were all paid to keep quiet. No one spoke. No one acted. And the girls understood once again that the world outside these walls couldn't reach them. Ijeoma arrived on a Monday morning, bright-eyed and full of hope. She had traveled far from her village, carrying dreams of work, money, and a better life she was promised. The front of the building welcomed her like a dream come true. For a moment, she felt her heart lift. This was the life she had imagined. "Good morning, Miss Ijeoma. Welcome to the spa," a receptionist said, handing her a form to fill. Ijeoma smiled. "Thank you. I'm really excited to start working here." For the first week, she worked like any other trainee at the salon. She learned to style hair, apply makeup,